Hey everyone, Joseph Tupp here. Now that we're familiar with the pens, we know how to prep a canvas, it's time to start painting and blending. Today in part 3, I'm going to show you some good tips that I use to blend with the Posca paint pens. In this video, I'm going to have both real-time and time-lapse segments to better explain the whole process. Before we start painting, I'm going to show you a method that I use to get the image onto the canvas. Of course, you could just simply draw onto the canvas, but for this video I thought it'd be cool to show you a transfer technique that I use. I simply attach a sheet of carbon paper onto the back of the image that I've blown up and place the image where I'd like it to be on the canvas. I'm going to use some tape to secure the picture so that it doesn't slide around, and with a pencil I'm just going to trace over all the lines that I want to transfer. So now that the image is transferred, it's time to start painting. The first color combination we're going to use is gray and white. I'm going to use the medium tip pen and start in the lower bottom portion of the shark. I'm going to split the shark in half, essentially creating two sections. The trick here is to be very loose. Just put some color on the canvas to get started. But we need to be a little fast. We don't want the paint dry before we can get to the next color. Now we're going to use the white pen, and this is where the blending technique comes in. I'm using a back and forth motion, bleeding the white into the gray and pulling the gray out. We're going to do this all the way down, and then we're going to repeat this method again. Here I'm doing the same method as before, applying the gray first and then following with the white. Using a back and forth motion, I'm pulling the gray out and I'm continuing the pattern. By using this technique, you'll start to notice that when you bring the white back over it again, you'll see that the white will gradually fade back to its original color. Once we have this section finished, we can move on to the next color combination. Now that the painting portion is complete, we will start tightening up the image using the black pens. Don't be discouraged if your image looks messy, because the black will help the painting come together. What you should do here is take your time and try to maintain a steady hand. Be patient in this section because you don't want to rush and make a mistake. We're going to do this outline around the entire image, and then we're going to come back and do a profile line. Now that we've gone through the basic outline, we're going to give the painting some character. We're using a medium tip pen, and we're essentially going to profile the image. What this does is allow the image to really pop. It's a technique that cartoonists use to make their characters really stand out. Plus, this gives our image some line variety, which makes it more interesting and not so dull. If we left the image with a basic outline, the image would appear flat and boring. But by doing this, it will help the image to give it some life and dimension. As you can see on these longer sections, I'm actually locking my wrist, and I'm using a pulling motion by pulling with my arm. So now we're almost done. This step can be optional. I like to do highlights because it gives the painting some more character and uniqueness. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, but just keep in mind that sometimes less is more. Our painting is almost complete. We just have one more step left to do, and that's just adding in the gills. Using the gray, we're going to create a S shape that gradually gets smaller. What I'm doing here is just coming back and accenting certain areas with the black pen, just to give it a little bit more texture. So that's it. Just sign your name and we're done for this part. The next segment, I'm going to show you how to actually take this image and digitalize it and create some really neat graphics. So stay tuned and I'll see you on the next video.